I'm going to answer the internet's most searched questions about Family Guy, starting with the most frequently asked one, why Family Guy hates Meg.
Everybody spit on Meg!
Stop!
I've done numerous videos on this subject, but to boil it down to a simple answer, it's because the writers thought it would be funny to make her the punching bag.
How come I never get any lines in these things?
Shut up, Meg.
Now, I have seen online that the writers didn't know how to write for a teenage girl, and so they presented that, and therefore had the writers treat her this way as a result, but I can't find their source for this anywhere, so I highly doubt that any writer has publicly ever said this. And why would they? At the same time though, I don't think it's controversial to say that a room full of middle-aged men knew how to write for a teenage girl, and that's nothing against the talent of the writer's room. Maybe the male writers did struggle to come up with any good storylines for her because they had no real frame of reference. I guess they did try to reason Meg's bullying later on in season 10 with Seahorse Seashell Party when it's revealed that by bullying Meg it actually absorbs the family's dysfunction, but even still, one episode doesn't really excuse the fact that she was used as a punching bag for decades, and given very little character moments outside of this bullying. Saying all that though, it is just an adult comedy show, and she was bullied just for the laughs.
Is somebody downstairs?
Oh God, Meg, you startled me. I'm sorry.
Overall though, what I will say is that she has had a lot of growth and development over the recent seasons, and as a result, there aren't nearly as many Meg jabs as there used to be. Also, I just want to add that these types of most asked question videos are usually done by people who actually work on the show. And this should go without saying, but I don't work for Family Guy. I wish I did, but I'm just a fan who's a bit pedantic, a bit geeky, who knows a bit too much about it. This is all just for fun. So moving on to another widely searched question, which is why Family Guy got cancelled. So, Family Guy was actually cancelled twice. Originally, the show debuted to big numbers when it was broadcast between The Simpsons and The X-Files, two of Fox's biggest shows. But Family Guy's time slot was moved around constantly, and the ratings soon dropped.
Now, Fox Sunday continues with an all-new Family Guy.
And in its second season, it was moved to Thursdays and the ratings continued to fall, leading Fox to pull the plug. However, only a couple of months later, they changed their minds and renewed it for a third season. But somehow Fox still hadn't learned their lesson, placing the show in a terrible time slot where it directly competed against Friends and Survivor. And as a result, Fox cancelled it for the second time in 2002. Cartoon Network then bought the rerun rights basically for free, and the show was broadcast on Adult Swim.
New Family Guy, next Monday at 11 on Adult Swim.
It became a massive rating success, boosting Adult Swim's block viewership by 239%. Viewers also discovered the show through its DVDs, which sold like crazy, and so therefore all of this renewed interest soon encouraged Fox to bring Family Guy back for its fourth season. So next up we have why Family Guy killed Brian. To put it simply, it was a publicity stunt. The producers had absolutely no intention of killing Brian off permanently. In his own words, Seth MacFarlane said it reminded people that this is still a show where anything can happen despite the fact that it's been on for a while. We thought it would create a stir, but the rage wasn't something we counted on. Personally, I hated it. I felt like it was a cheap trick to get some headline news, and to their credit, it did work, and it definitely got people talking, but maybe not for the right reasons. So moving on, we have, does Family Guy have an Emmy? And yes, it does. In fact, it has 9 Emmys. They have 5 in the category of Outstanding Character Voiceover Performance, 1 for Music and Lyrics, 2 for Outstanding Animation, and 1 for Sound Mixing. But unlike The Simpsons, they have never won an Emmy for an episode, which is something that seems to be a real sore spot for them.
Hey, that's no fair. I don't got none of them.
Does Family Guy understand Stewie?
I don't get it. So, like, can the family understand the baby, or what's the deal with that?
This is a very complicated question because sometimes the parents can understand him.
How can you say you don't like it if you haven't even given it a chance?
I agree with Stewie, it's not really fair.
And other times they can't.
No! Blast you and your estrogenical treachery!
Sweet dreams, kiddo.
In fact, there was a whole episode dedicated to Stewie saying his first word that everyone could understand.
Hey, Stewie said his first word, and it was a swear.
Yeah, but now what? Everyone can understand you?
I don't think so.
Not unless I'm yelling something I feel strongly about.
Even the writers don't know, as evidenced by this exchange in a season 6 episode.
Isn't she one of those people outside the family who can understand me?
No, I think because of Cleveland, she's close enough to the main cast that it might be a little weird.
Really?
Basically, the writers constantly change their mind on who can or can't understand Stewie. The most definitive answer we have comes from a 2003 interview with Seth, who said they can hear him and understand him. It's just that he's a baby and for some reason they don't take what he says with any seriousness. But basically, people can understand him whenever it serves the plot or the joke. Does Family Guy have continuity? Kinda, at least not a strict one. Peter has been mutilated and killed several times, but he always seems to keep coming back.
Oh, okay.
However, there have been some storylines and guest characters that have carried over, like Brian and Gillian or Stewie and Olivia. I mean, Brian dying and then returning a few episodes later is still considered continuity, so it's not completely devoid of canon, but the writers definitely don't pay too much attention to it. Will Family Guy ever end? Like all things in life, Family Guy will eventually come to an end. When? I can't say. The show is returning for its 23rd season and MacFarlane recently talked about the future of the series, saying he doesn't see the show ending anytime soon. I don't know that there's any reason to stop at this point unless people get sick of it. Unless the numbers show that people are just like, we don't care about Family Guy anymore, but that hasn't happened yet. Now, let's type "is" into the search bar, followed by one of the characters' names, and let's see what comes up. And the first result is Stewie Griffin gay? Stewie is fluid. He's been shown to be attracted to guys, gals, and teddy bears. Basically, his sexuality fits into whatever the plot calls for.
Now I just need a guy's butt to eat this off of and I got myself a night.
There was going to be an episode where he officially came out as gay, but they then changed their mind, with Seth saying this in an interview. We decided it's better to keep it vague, which makes more sense because he's a 1-year-old. Ultimately, Stewie will be gay, or a very unhappy repressed heterosexual. Is Stewie Griffin British? No, he's American. It was revealed in the season 16 episode Send in Stewie Please that he puts on an accent.
The accent is nothing more than an affectation, a coat of armor to get me through the day, just an image I cultivated so I could feel special.
There was also a season 12 episode called Chap Stewie where he alters time and as a result is born into a British family.
I'm British? All right.
However, being British isn't as great as it seemed, and he soon goes back to his American family by the end of it. Is Stewie Griffin based on a real person? Seth based Stewie's voice on English actor Rex Harrison.
In college, I had sort of worked up an impression of Rex Harrison in order to get girls, and...
And does he sound like Rex? Well, I'll let you be the judge of that.
I think she's got it. I think she's got it. I think she's got it. I think she's got it.
So, let's now type in another name. Is Peter Griffin bisexual? People really seem to be obsessed with the sexual orientation of Family Guy characters, and, well, to answer the question, yes. Again, kinda. Like I've already mentioned, Family Guy's canon is kind of messy, but there have been many times that he's shown to be interested in both men and women, like in one scene where we find out that he dresses as a woman and has a secret family with a man. And in another episode, he was shown to be a bigamist and in a relationship with a man called Kenneth. Oh yeah, and there was another time where he got a boat and he actually called it SS I'm Bi. So, there's that. Peter also watches male-on-male porn.
You've got male porn.
And when he was a kid, he fell in love with another boy at an aquarium and was super nervous when they met him yet again in later life. And there are dozens more examples, so yeah, I guess you could say Peter is bi. Is Peter Griffin trans? In season 4's Brian the Bachelor, there's a cutaway of Peter talking about the time he transitioned into a man.
What are you going to go by now?
Peter.
However, we've seen flashbacks to when Peter was a little boy, so yeah, this was just a joke. But really, I think this question was referring to a season 17 episode called Trans Fads, in which Peter transitions into a woman.
You're officially a woman.
But by the end of it, with some help from Ida, he transitions back into a man.
Congratulations, Mr. Griffin. Your surgery was a success. You're a man again.
So, moving on to the very top question for Quagmire, is Quagmire Asian? No, but he did pretend to be of Japanese descent in a season 9 episode Halloween on Spooner Street. When the guys keep pranking on Quagmire, they take it so far that he unknowingly sleeps with Joe.
I didn't feel anything, but you did! Happy Halloween!
So to get revenge, Quagmire lies that his grandfather was a kamikaze pilot, takes them up in a plane, and pretends that he's going to crash it with them all inside.
That was for making me have sex with Joe, you sons of bitches!
Is Quagmire a pervert? Well, duh. Is that a serious question? Of course he is. He's the biggest pervert in the history of television.
Here's the condom I said I put on. Aren't I just the worst?
He's done it with animals, dead people, and he's even joked about wanting to do it with his daughter as soon as she turns 18. So yeah, he's a dirty, dirty pervert.
Why is she wearing a French maid's costume?
Because I want to nail a dead French maid. Giggity, giggity!
So moving on from that, let's see what comes up when I put in "Is Meg Griffin?" And the first result is Meg Griffin ugly? The show likes to say she's ugly. In fact, they go as far to say that she's the ugliest woman in town. That used to be pretty much the one big joke about Meg.
Meg ugly!
Even when Brian and Stewie went to the universe where she was supposed to be hot, she was still considered to be the most ugly.
And you know what's amazing? In this universe, she's still one of the ugly ones.
But in reality, she's not ugly at all. I mean, look at her. She looks normal. Just Lois with brown hair, a hat and some glasses. Is Meg Griffin a boy? She's a girl, but there is a cutaway of Meg being born as a boy and Peter accidentally snipping off the penis.
Okay, that wasn't the cord, and now you've got a girl.
Also in the special Stewie Griffin The Untold Story, it's revealed that Meg will transition in the future and will be known as Ron.
I gotta go shop for a razor, you know, for my face, where I grow my beard.
Okay, we get it, Ron, you're a guy.
Is Meg Griffin adopted? In the season 3 episode Screw the Pooch, Brian lets slip who Meg's real father is.
And Meg's real father's name is Stan Thompson.
So it is possible that Lois slept with the Stan Thompson guy and Peter simply adopted her when she was born. Ultimately though, this was just a joke, and I do think that Peter is her real father. Saying this though, I would love an episode where they actually had Stan show up and be appalled by how Meg is treated, and would therefore want to take her away from all of the abuse. Why Meg Griffin wears a hat? Now, there are 3 reasons why. The first one being, in season 11, it was revealed that Meg was born with her heart on her head.
She should probably always wear a hat.
The second one is that there's a green monster living underneath it.
You know, Meg, I'd love to see you without your hat on. Okay.
And the last one is because she's Lego.
You kids are Legos?
I'm sorry you had to find out this way, Mom.
And those are the web's most searched Family Guy questions. Would you be interested in a SpongeBob or an American Dad version of this? Let me know in the comments below.